So today I want to speak directly to my fellow brothers out there, my fellow male survivors, just for a moment. Over the past few days, I've been receiving emails from male survivors, men, saying pretty much versions of this Epstein stuff. It's really messing with me. It's messing with my head, and I'm not sleeping, or I didn't expect it to actually hit me like it did, or I'm seeing myself in those kids, in those children. So before we talk about anything else, I just want to say this clearly. If the news coverage around the Epstein trafficking and exploited children is bringing up things for you, it makes total sense. Okay, so it's not saying that you're weak, you're not being dramatic, or you're not even wrong in your reaction. So let's just name a few things I'm gonna say without going into all the neuroscience that hopefully can help us as we're being exposed to many of these different type of things. Let's see if we can kind of ground ourselves. So what you're responding to isn't really information, it's recognition. So it's the images, it's the stories, it's it's the details, it's the language, it's all these things, and they don't just stay on the screen, but they land in our bodies. And sometimes that's hard for us to really get a hold on. And so for many male survivors, this kind of news, it bypasses logic. But what it does, maybe it might activate memories without pictures for some of us. Maybe it creates a sense of helplessness, or maybe it brings us back to feeling like we're being small, where we're unseen, or we're trapped. And so you may not even be thinking, well, this reminds me, of my abuse, but your body knows. Okay, so I want to kind of normalize something I'm going to say that often scares us as men, as dudes, and that is being triggered by this does not mean that you're regressing. Okay, so it doesn't mean that, oh no, I'm back at square one, or the therapy isn't working, or the coaching isn't working, or I'm losing control, or oh man, I'm broken again. What it simply means is that your nervous system is responding to the current input that overlaps your old experience. So it's not pathology, but it's biology. It's that nervous system. So then what's the key goal for us, as we're kind of being, bombarded by these different type of things? It's a shift, right? And so right now the goal isn't, well, I need to process everything, or I need to understand why this is affecting me now, or let me just really dig into the memories, or I need to try and make meaning of it. The goal is really much simpler than that. It's to help your nervous system come back online. And so this is about management. This is not healing work. This is about management. So I just want to share a few things that I hope can help you. Okay. And so I'm just going to offer just a few things, not a long list, not the program. You already know about the program, but right now, maybe just a few anchors. The first one is intentionally limit your exposure. Now, this is not avoidance. This is what I'm going to call dose control. So from here to here, right? So you don't need every article. You don't need to watch every video. You don't have to every update, and you don't have to hear every graphic detail. So staying informed does not require immersion. So give yourself permission to step back a little bit and say, okay, that's enough. That's sufficient. I get the idea, because your nervous system doesn't benefit from the repeated exposure. Okay. The next thing is simply orient yourself. And I know you've heard this before, but we're just going over these things again. So when you're triggered, right? Your system actually loses time orientation. That's the wonderful thing about this brain. It can take you back, forward, and so you lose that time orientation. Okay, so we need to bring the nervous system back to the future. not to the future, but back to the present. And so name five things that you can see that are right in front of you, right? Whatever computer, your wallet, your cup of water that you're actually drinking or something, right? Feel your feet on the floor. Pressure back into the chair that you're sitting right now and just silently say, or even out loud, I'm here and I'm safe enough right now. So this isn't positive thinking, but what we're doing is we're just bringing our system back to the now, our nervous system, we're bringing it back online. This one is really key. Talk to someone who gets it. And the reason I say that, not everyone needs to hear from you, and not everyone can really, I'm going to say, handle competently what you have to say. So make sure that you choose carefully. So if you're with your therapist, make sure your therapist understands. Maybe another trusted survivor, or a coach who gets it. All the time, I hear this from survivors, and I say, "Hey, why didn't you share that with your therapist?" Because I need someone who gets it, who understands it. And so, if you can find someone competent, person, trusted survivor, then do that. It's just so wonderful when you don't need to explain everything. And then sometimes it's just saying, you know what, this news is just bringing some stuff up for me and I'm struggling. And that's enough. Maybe that's enough to actually reduce the internal load. All right, here's a big thing as we're trying to work through all this stuff that might be coming up for us as the Epstein files are out there. Don't interpret your reaction. Now, this one I'm going to say is critical. Okay. So, right now, you're not asking yourself, like, well, why is this affecting me so much? Or what does this say about me that this is coming up now? Or, I'm weaker than I thought. I thought I had worked through all this stuff. Those questions can come later, if at all. In this moment, like this, interpretation actually increases the stress. And so you become even more distressed. Right now, we need regulation. Regulation comes first. All right. So let's just say a little bit about a lot of things that we're feeling: anger, grief, maybe even powerlessness. And so you might notice that, man, this anger is just rising up in you, outrage. And let me tell you guys, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And I'm seeing these things and I'm like, how could you do that to those children? How could you let this happen? Or how could we live in a nation that knows that these things are going on and we do nothing about it? Okay. And maybe that produces a deep sadness or maybe even a sense of helplessness. What can I do? These are appropriate reactions to the stories of abuse and exploitation that we are hearing. But hear me, you don't need to act on them. Okay, this is where the emotional regulations, you don't even need to suppress them, but you do need to contain them. And what I mean by contain them is you don't collapse into them, but it's like acknowledging them. And so I'm acknowledging my rage and my anger over these things, but then at the same time, I'm grounding myself in this present, right? So you've got to stay grounded in your body and in this present. So it's like, yeah, allow yourself to feel that. I'm not acting on it, but what I'm doing is like, this isn't right. This is wrong. Okay. But I'm containing it. This has just been a quick message, bros. Like I said, I'm getting emails, I guess, from my guys that I work with, and they're just talking about how this is affecting them. And so I'm like, you know what? There's probably other guys out there, other survivors, male, female, whatever, that you're experiencing these things also. So just I'm just going to close just a short message. I just thought it was important this morning to get up. I was just racing through my brain. I'm like, well, if I'm reacting like this, I know there's got to be other survivors out there too. So if this news is hitting you maybe harder than you expected, if you're feeling maybe a little shaken, if you're feeling maybe a little bit raw, you're feeling unsettled, first of all, know that you are not alone. And then those are appropriate reactions to the things that we are being exposed to. Many of us we're feeling it. Even those of us maybe who've done a lot of work before working on our own issues. But this doesn't mean that you're back in the past. It just means that the past is kind of brushed up against us a little bit here in the present. And you don't have to face it alone. That's the cool thing. You don't have to face it alone. And so make sure you get the structured support that you need, right? Make sure that you allow yourself to stay regulated and oriented, right? And steadied, right? As the world just learns even more about these things. And then just realize that the world is starting to experience our world, the world where we come from. You know what? It's probably about time. So take a deep breath, breathe, limit the exposure, orient yourself in the present, reach out to someone. And you know what? That might be just enough for today.